the 20th there's the one meeting for the Hispanic gathering. Then the 21st, Pastors Conference.
Don't forget that.
Yeah. And they're doing something that's pretty cool this year. Have you heard?
I have heard.
Yeah.
Do tell.
They are doing the different articles that you find in the Baptist Faith and Message, and they're going to have different people speaking on each one of those through their whole session. So it's going to be short sermons, but they're going to be really quick, and just talking about the things that we believe as Southern Baptists.
Like 17 little sermonettes.
That's right.
Although we're Southern Baptists, we wouldn't call it a sermonette because that's too feminine.
Come on now. It's a really strong slate of speakers, though.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, really strong, including Dr. Adam Groza.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And diverse.
Very diverse. I was just about to say that.
It just looks like our state. Yeah, it's going to look like our state up there. So
It's going to be a bunch of TED Talks.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
On theological places where we all hold a commonality, basically.
Right.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
And Jason Robertson said they're going to try to bundle it to make it, available for future use.
Sure.
Oh, that's great.
Which is exciting.
Well, and the people that can't be there will be able to watch it on the Acts 2 app.
That's exactly right.
So,
yeah. And online. Yeah.
Welcome to the GC Collective Podcast, brought to you by the California Southern Baptist Convention.
Hello, California Southern Baptist family. Welcome back to the GC Collective Podcast. It's a special edition. Hey, Pete.
Hi, Sarah.
How's it going?
Doing well.
Are you excited? It's almost that time.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the day after convention because that day is better than the 24th of December.
The 24th of December.
I mean, the 24th of December is better than that day. Wait a minute.
Do you open your gifts on Christmas Eve? Is that
Yes,
what's going on?
that's
You
right.
cheat.
That's
Yeah.
the Mexican way.
That's the way my family
My
does
family did it too, and then I got married, and my wife's like, no.
So I think we have a special guest.
Yeah, I'm here.
do.
Hi.
Welcome, Shawn Beaty. Welcome back to the table.
It's good to be back. I actually dressed nice this time.
You did. I remember your fancy sweatshirt from last time.
I get riding in on my motorcycle. My hair was all crazy. Like, there's all kinds of stuff going on. I didn't know it was on video. I thought it was just some audio, so
I'm
I
just
could
glad
look
wearing
like a
pants
homeless.
and not shorts.
I could look like a homeless guy, I thought.
That's hilarious. Well, we brought you back for our special pre-convention edition of the show. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Yes,
Now
as the chairman of our board, of course, he can speak to a lot of things that we do.
There we
And
go.
also, he's kind of old. He's been here a long time, and so he knows how convention works
It's
now.
not
That's so
old,
weird.
it's seasoned.
Isn't
That's
that
the word.
so weird?
Yeah.
I am old.
No, because if not, then I'd have to be old, and I don't
No,
wanna
not
be.
you. You're
I'm
forever
not
young,
ready.
Sarah.
So says my hair dye. Okay, so we're not taking our regular format today because we just have too much to talk about, right?
Right.
Yeah,
right,
lots of stuff. So convention edition. So let's just start with the basics. Where are we going to be?
Well, we're going to be in Magnolia Baptist Church in Riverside, across the street from California Baptist University.
Yes.
And it's in October, and we are there on the 21st for all kinds of different meetings. Actually, some of them actually start on the 20th on Sunday night, like the
That's
Hispanic meeting. And then we have the Women Missionary Union, and we've got other ethnic groups that will be meeting, like the African American and the Directors of Missions, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of meetings, women's, just great stuff that's going to happen.
All can be
days.
found on our website.
Yeah.
All can be found on our website under the auxiliary meetings.
That's right. That's right.
But then the convention itself starts Tuesday.
On 22nd, and we start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we have 3 sessions on Tuesday and and then 1 on Wednesday, and then we should be done by 10 a.m., maybe 10:30, and it'll be a good time to go home after that. So.
Yeah. So for those who will be there, we want to make sure to encourage everybody to register ASAP.
Right. And you can register online. And once you register, you'll be able to go right up to the desk there and get your wristband. This year, we're giving people wristbands and your name tag and your ballot and book a report and all that stuff. And so we're looking forward to people showing up maybe around 2 o'clock on that day and getting registered on
We're getting wristbands this year, huh? It's like
Yeah.
Coachella.
Yeah.
We're getting like glow sticks next year.
If we have no electricity, we will pass out glow sticks, whatever it takes.
Actually, the wristbands are very important because there's going to be so many of us that
It's going to be
real
sold
tight.
out,
That's exactly right.
packed out this year.
Yeah, there's going to be some overflow. So you want to register as a messenger.
Yeah.
As a messenger.
Yeah.
And then as a guest, if you need to register as a guest.
Well, and we know also that this year, because of the way that the exhibit hall, the space that we have a lot more people coming that's going to just present their ministries and the things that they offer through their businesses or whatever. How many people do we have approximately coming to have a booth or a table at our convention this year,
We
Sarah?
have 30 plus. We have at least 30,
Wow.
32, 33 exhibitors.
awesome.
That's a lot.
the last couple of years we've been doing what?
Closer to 20.
20, right,
Yeah.
right. So, these are people that offer services to churches. These are people that are our partners that are talking about what they do, and for our churches to be able to connect and find out a lot more about, what we do as a family. It's good to have all these people there at our convention, at the exhibit hall, that's going to be overflowing into the lobby of the church because we have that many, and it's important for our churches to know these resources.
Right. Yeah, definitely. But with the sanctuary and the number of people that we anticipate are going to be coming, it's going to be a full house.
It will be a full house.
So the wristbands are going to be necessary.
So make sure you register. Get
Make
your
sure you
people in.
pre-register.
I just made a note of that, actually. I'm registered, but I have more pastors I'm bringing. I'm bringing all my young guns, and they need to register as messengers. I'm teaching them the Baptist ways.
That's right.
Excellent.
That's good.
Make sure you pre-register. Do that online. If you need help, call the convention office. We'll help you get pre-registered.
That's great.
So perfect. Something else we want to make sure that we highlight. Last year, Pete, I don't know if you remember, but we had the Send stage.
Right.
Yeah. This year we're doing that again, but we're not highlighting Send. We're going to be highlighting disaster relief.
That's right. And our disaster relief team has been working so hard this year with all the fires down in Southern California and fires that we had just in the north as well. But currently, as we're recording, we have our teams deployed to 3 areas here in California, and we have our director in Florida working with the Region 1 state directors. And probably by the time that this recording is out, we will have actually people deployed out in Florida because of the hurricane.
On the ground.
And so our disaster relief teams are working in an amazing way. And I won't tell you all the other stuff that they're doing because I want you to hear it from Kendrick at the stage at the convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already got some big names. People are flying in. Big name disaster relief national people coming in to be on that stage.
That's great.
I know.
I had 2 pastors that aren't SBC call me today about, hey, how can I give to Southern Baptist Disaster Relief? Because they've heard, we have the best.
Right.
And one of the things people don't realize is, by nature, I'm an evangelist. And I see this all the time. People consider a relationship with God, they start thinking about that during trial, trauma, and transition. And whenever there's a disaster, people come to Christ. God uses those awful instances to bring eternal life to people.
Right.
Yeah.
So DR is a huge ministry that the California Southern Baptist Convention really kind of it doesn't happen if we don't exist. So it's an incredible ministry, not just in our state with all the fires, but all over the country, all over the world, really.
Well, Shawn, you and I know we've been out in the field together. We weren't wearing the official disaster relief gear that day, but I remember us being with that senior citizen, taking her to a hotel.
That's right, in the Creek fire.
And ministering to her in that hotel.
Yeah, 1 in the morning. It was,
And then we had to clean the restrooms. You
Yeah.
and I. We Tyveked and cleaned the restrooms because we didn't want the people from the church to do it. So we stepped up. But,
so humble.
But but this is the stuff that DR does. They share the gospel. They clean restrooms. They give a cup of water. They provide a place of shelter. They clean up places, and they do it all for the glory of God. And to make Him known.
Yeah.
And so, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
Yep. They earn the right to preach.
Yep. Absolutely.
In people's lives, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to go back a little bit because we were talking about the importance of people registering and how it was going to be really crowded in a good way. And I want to put a quick plug in for pre-registering for childcare, because we know that the next gen, they're coming through. They've been kind of coming out like gangbusters, really. And
they're all having like 7 children too. Like that's a thing now.
I mean, we love it. I love seeing
great.
young families coming out.
We're trying to reach 2% of the population
Church
in
growth,
California.
man.
We're trying to
I'm
grow
all for it. I put fertility drugs in our lemonade
a
at
million
church.
people in California.
It's all these moms with triplets now.
We would really love it if all of our young families would pre-register their kids for childcare.
That's right.
The link is on the website. So
Right.
please pre-register your kids. That would be awesome, so that we're ready for that. But Pete, tell us a little bit about our keynote speaker.
Sure. Our keynote speaker this year is Pastor Mark Lee.
Nice.
And he's from Southern California. He actually had something else on his calendar and was not going to be able to be there with us the whole meeting. But when he was asked by the Convention on Operations Committee to come and speak, he changed his plans. And one of the things I love about Mark is that he's leading a church down in Southern California that is committed to prayer, and they're seeing the hand of God with them.
Yeah.
He's also committed to church planting, and he works with the Send Network doing that as well. And just love his spirit. I am looking forward to hearing how God is going to use him to challenge our hearts to continue to go forward in doing the work that God has called us here in the Great Commission work in California.
Yeah, when my daughter was a student at CBU, she did a lot of church, searching church. She landed at his church, and I got to visit there. He's an incredible communicator.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and Vantage Point is a force. It is a very, very strong church, just reaching its community and ministering well there.
Yeah. They just baptized, I think, over 80 about a week ago during a prayer. They did 3 days of prayer, and on the third day they baptized about 80 plus people.
It's amazing.
It's just, again, they're not. It's not about just easy come and believism. It's really about being in the presence of God, making disciples. They're doing the work.
yeah.
And I love it. And so having somebody that is committed to doing that in his church to come speak to us, I think will be a big blessing for all that are there.
And what day is he preaching?
He's preaching on Tuesday night.
So tell us about Tuesday night.
Well, Tuesday night begins with the amazing orchestra and CBU choir.
Yeah.
And so if, we always have them even start a little bit earlier. You're going to want to be early for that evening session because it really is just a huge celebration.
Right.
And we have a special treat up our sleeve that we don't want to let out of the bag because it's going to be something so good right before Mark preaches. And then we're going to spend time in prayer that night. And so I just want to encourage you. I want to encourage you that you don't miss the convention and don't miss out on Tuesday night. You might say, well, there's no business going on that night. That's okay. That's our celebration.
That's right.
That's our celebration.
Who wants to go to the business meeting, to be
So,
honest?
Yeah, right. That's the day you do not want to forget your wristband.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
right. That's true.
Do not forget your
That's true.
wristband on
Yeah,
that day.
Tuesday night is, it's an incredible night. It's incredible. It's really the most crowded usually.
In fact, we
to be honest, the business meeting is the one we have to, come on guys, we're doing business, get back in.
Yeah, get in there. Yeah, we shut down all the exhibit hall. There's nothing else happening Tuesday night.
Right.
Yeah, that's the can't miss. And if you have people in your church you want to expose to the California Southern Baptist Convention,
Right.
that's the time to bring them.
Yes.
Because they
Yes.
get to kind of see the best
I'll tell you
of what
we're planning to
we
have
offer.
overflow seating.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to have this
That's
time.
awesome.
We'll have to because
we believe it's going to be full.
Yeah, it's great.
it is going to be full. Yeah. And after that, we will, when that night ends, we will push everybody to the exhibit hall after party, which we continue to up our game with the exhibit hall after party because it's the last chance to visit the exhibitors. And the exhibitors are all in for this party. It's the last chance to visit the exhibitors.
And it's themed.
It is themed.
Right. Do we want to say the theme?
Do we want to say the theme?
Yeah, I'd like to know. I don't know what the theme is.
We have a costume for you.
I may have to dress for it, right?
It's circus theme.
Yeah, it's a carnival
circus
theme.
Oh, well, I'm
Yeah.
a clown already, so I'll fit right in.
It's going to be carnival themed, and so all of our exhibitors have been prepped and prepared, and they'll have gifts for everybody along those lines. And so
When people ask me at church, like, "Hey, when is this class or when is that?" I'm always like, "I don't know when anything is. I'm Ronald McDonald. I don't make the burgers. I'm just the clown that sells them."
that's funny. So that'll be a really fun night
Right.
for everybody. So
Right.
you'll
Yeah.
want to make sure to be there for that. Let's get a little bit more serious because I know that people are really kind of waiting for the what's the business.
Sure. So we do have the business session that begins at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, right? And we have two sessions. We have one that starts at 10 and another one that starts at 1:30, I believe. And so we have these two meetings that have business in them. It also has the report from myself. It has the report from our president. And in there's times for us to present things like the report from the executive board, which Shawn is the chair of, and so he'll bring a report of that. We'll have any resolutions that are brought at that time. There'll be a budget that will be presented. There'll be different things like that will be presented during that time period, and we'll show videos of what are the ministries of the convention and how they're working. So a lot of reports and motions and possible resolutions, things like that will come at that time.
Yeah. So are we going to talk about any of those while we're here?
Well, Shawn, I think that it's important that we talk about the budget because next year's budget is going to look very different than it has historically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're trying a different method at it, and one of the things that I've seen in my 12 years now on the board is we've watched over the last decade how giving has changed with churches. And CP giving has changed specifically, where churches, are giving specifically to Annie, to Lottie. They're lessening CP and giving to other things. Where before it was you gave to CP and it just kind of dispersed among the things. So one of the things that we're proposing this year is that we take the CP budget, and that the CSBC has a set budget that we operate on. We're not going to operate on a percentage base. We're going to operate on a set. And then from that set budget, we will, everything over will be the percentage that goes to the NAM, to the IMB. I almost call it the Foreign Mission Board. I'm not that old.
Oh, you really are Southern Baptist.
I'm not. Yeah, I know. I'm not that old though. I shouldn't
you.
be calling it that. The Home Mission Board. To NAM, to IMB, to the seminaries and things like that. Where before we just split it at a percentage base, sure. if that makes sense. So this flat rate, in some ways, is going to help assure that ministries in California get done, like disaster relief, right? Disaster relief is working with the local 2,500 local churches in our state, doing evangelism, doing ministry, things like our evangelism department. Most people don't realize this. The evangelism department has been giving out these grants for churches to do outreach on their own. And it's projected this year that our churches that went through all our evangelism seminars and got the grants, that over 120,000 people will have the gospel presented to them through those grants. That's right. And through that, that's somewhere probably between 3,500 and 4,500 people will accept Christ, will step from death to life because of that. Like, that's the equivalent of, doing a giant stadium crusade, but it's done in the context of a local church, a discipling community, which is so much better, right? There's so many ministries in California. There's the Feeding Those Who Feed Us. There's our Church Matters. There's our Champions group that are doing Count the Cost. There's all of these different groups that are working with our local associations, which are really kind of our feet on the ground in California. Right. And the local church. So we're setting our budget so that we can do that, because California is the mission field. And a lot of people forget that. This isn't another state where, they may take in, $18 million in CP giving and they have a population of 1 million people. right? This is a state that has a population of, we say 39, but it's probably 42, 43 because we don't document all of them. 43 million, 43 million people, right? And it's a very small percentage of them that even attend a evangelical church, let alone a Southern Baptist church. But we're setting this budget so that ministry gets done in California and to the ends of the earth.
That's right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the,
and really
the thought behind it.
The way that it's broken down, if this year's budget was $6 million, next year's budget is projected to come in at $5 million, at least what we're expecting to come in from the cooperative program. Based on those numbers, what our agencies lose out on is really a small, like a 0.02% of their budget.
Yeah.
But for us, it's 15%. You know, it's a big cut. I mean, it means if we were not to change and just try to keep doing ministry the same way we've been doing, we would lose half of the staff that we have here in Fresno. For us making this change in our budget, it doesn't affect any IMB missionaries that have to come back home. It doesn't mean that there's less churches being planted. It doesn't mean that there's...
It means there's more.
It really does.
Ultimately.
Because the churches are the ones that are sending.
Yeah.
And so we're really trying to make sure that we are resourcing the churches here in California. And part of the change in budget, if you remember, Shawn, 2% of what actually stays here is to work directly with the directors of missions.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that because I tell you that as the staff has been reduced here, those directors of missions for us have been lifelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some gifted men that we have used as our champions to go alongside the churches and that really have even a closer relationship at the state convention with those local churches.
Yeah.
And
This is the best relationship I've seen with the local associations since I've been in the convention.
Yeah.
And they're really our feet on the ground.
100%. Yes. And so we're just, it's about this better together. And this budget really allows us to do that in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be proposing that and we'll be putting that forward. So it's different than how it's been done in previous years. But, you know, we live in a very fast changing world. And typically as Baptists, we like to operate about 20 years behind everyone.
Are we as in California?
No,
or
just as a
in...
collective Southern Baptist convention,
okay.
like culturally and you can't do that in the 21st century. We have to be nimble. Like change is something we have to be able to shuck and jive as geopolitics change, economics change, all of those things change. Our doctrine is the same. It's been the same because we read from the same book, the Bible. But how we get the gospel and the Great Commission done, we have to always be shifting because the world is always shifting.
Yeah. I'll tell you, other state conventions, some of them have completely removed some of our SBC organizations to make sure that they have enough resources in their own state. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah, especially the Western states. The
Right.
Western states have really had to do that. And we're probably of all the Western states, we're the largest. And, you know, we're the one that, you know, like, we got to set the example.
Of the 13 Western states, the population of the 13 Western states is not equivalent to the population of California.
Oh.
Yeah.
We are greater than those 13 states. And our mission field is huge.
I was in Kansas last week with 4 or 5 other SBC churches, and they were talking about, like, how do you do ministry in California? And I said, well, that's the problem, guys, is you guys are so worried about California's politics and you forgot that the harvest is out here. And you guys don't really realize California, as messed up as our politics is still the 9th largest economy in the world.
Right.
And when Jesus asked to pay was told I believe the disciples to pay the temple tax, he said, go out and catch a fish and there'll be a coin in the fish. The money's in the harvest. The money, you know what I mean? Like, it's here in California, and really the rest of the SBC should be looking at us as the mission field. And this is the place that if we win California, you win the 9th largest economy in the world to reach the world. Like, it's not this godforsaken Sodom and Gomorrah place. It's a place of incredible opportunity. And I'm seeing people come to Christ left and right throughout our state. And regardless of how crazy our politics are.
I want to read you a quote.
Okay.
This is a pastor that said this a long time ago.
Okay.
It says, if there is a missionary ground on earth, it is California. Will I preach in my own native tongue where I am born the wonderful works of God? My hearers can translate my sermon into 8 or 10 of the most prominent and popular languages on earth. German, Parisians, Ethiopians, Malaysians, Turks, Chinese, Japanese, Spaniards, Romans, Portuguese, Dutch, Russian, Swedes, and Yankees, all walking through the streets and listening at the door or sitting in the church. This is by Osgood C. Wheeler in September of 1849 at First Baptist Church of San Francisco, who just turned 175 years. This was their first pastor. Came out and says, this is the mission field that we're living in.
Oh, yeah.
And the mission field's only grown.
Yeah.
And California is so important. Again, it's been said many times, and I believe it really is true. If we reach California, we can reach the world.
Oh, yeah. I've done just some consulting and coaching for different pastors. And I remember working with the Grove Church in San Diego, small church in San Diego, 54 language groups within a 3-mile radius of that church.
Amazing.
54 language groups.
Yeah.
But like the harvest is here,
Right.
And it's the 9th largest economy. Like you want to reach the nations.
Right.
Let's come get California and stop like shunning us, if anything.
Right.
So this motion's coming
Yeah.
to the convention from the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Voted unanimous.
Voted unanimously from the board.
From the board, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, big change. It's a
Big
big
change.
change, yes.
Have other states gone this way before?
Like I said, other states, what they've done is different, where they've designated their giving, and they've, for example, a church can say, well, I want to give so much to the state, so much to the IMB, so much of, and they break up how much they want to give or exclude. And so there's been variations of what is considered cooperative program, but it really has varied based on the desires of the churches. And so this is the desire of the board that we move in this direction. And honestly, I think it will definitely help us, even though we're still going to have to make some adjustments here at the state level with our staff. But that's okay. We'll manage, and we will manage in a very full of integrity, transparency, and joyfully.
Yeah.
Whatever God gives us, and we have made deep cuts. I mean, we are adjusting things, and we made deep cuts, and we're just trying to be financially responsible. And the board understands the great work that we have, and so this will definitely help. This will definitely help.
Yep. We're trying to keep CSBC in the black.
Yeah.
And to keep doing ministry throughout our state, planting churches, reaching people, helping churches make disciples, helping churches make new disciples. And, we have to shift with the times.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So let's not end there. Let's see if there's anything else we should talk about.
What's happening on the last day of convention?
On the last day of convention.
Yeah. The last day of convention is on Wednesday, right?
Okay.
And so we have a nice breakfast for everybody, right?
Yes, we do.
We are going to be
get Chick-fil-A.
No,
you get Chick-fil-A.
Even better, dude.
Okay.
Even
I
better.
don't know. I just wanted to be
You get a burrito.
I want to be like
you
Oprah.
get pan dulce.
We're going to tape it under the seat.
Yeah. No, we're going to give you some chorizo con huevos. And so,
Órale.
I don't know if it's going to have chorizo con huevos. It'll be an egg burrito of some kind.
Okay.
Yes.
We're having a breakfast burritos, and we're having some pan dulce and some coffee for everyone to have some fellowship before the meeting.
Yes.
And then we have some kids that are going to be with us on that Wednesday, and there's going to be just a beautiful presentation of colors
from
on that
Trail
day.
Life USA sponsoring our breakfast.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we'll hear the crossover report from the churches that are going to be doing evangelism outreaches during the month of October prior to us going out there.
And another surprise.
Yeah, and then another surprise, and we'll keep that one in the bag for now.
Yeah,
so
I'm dying of suspense.
You're just not going to want to. You're not going to want to miss this year's convention.
Lots of surprises.
Yes,
It's pretty smart, to be honest, because by like 9:15 on Wednesday, everyone's like, okay, if I could leave now, I could get home by, you know what I mean? But you got to have some good stuff at the end to keep them, because they need to hear these last things.
And we will get you out early. We're
Yes.
committed to that. We'll get you out early, but we definitely encourage you to stay to the end, because it's going to be great. If you love this podcast, you're going to love what we're going to do there.
There you go.
Cool.
All right. I think we've hit most of the high points for convention.
Yeah.
Just register early, everybody.
Yeah, you don't want to miss this convention. It's going to be a great one.
It really is.
They're all great in their own right, but like there's something about a full convention. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of unity. There's always a little drama, which is fun to see too. That's why people come. And it's great to get the family back together.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's a thing I didn't realize. No one told me when I joined the convention that really that family aspect, that like I have friends now that like I'm going to be friends with them my whole life. And I love seeing them this time of year and just catching up and seeing.
You know what my goal for this year's convention is? This is my goal, is that we would be together, united, glorifying God. And that's why that's a theme, right?
Yeah, together for his glory.
Yeah. I want us to come together and glorify him in everything that we do. And that from that meeting, we would have vision to continue to do that through the year.
Yeah.
That we can always point back to that reminder that everything that we do, because I think sometimes we get caught up in celebrating so many other things and forgetting that we're ultimately made by him, created by him, so that we can glorify him. Yeah. And so, man, I'm so looking forward to that, bro.
So that the Son of Man be lifted up above the earth, the world will be drawn to him.
Amen, preacher. That's
Wow,
right. That's
these
right. That's
pastors.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
So,
we want to say
anyway.
thank you to Magnolia Church for all the work that they've already started to do to get ready for us.
Oh, and Pastor Monty Setzler.
Yeah. You know what it's like to host a convention.
I do. And he's in his last year.
Yeah, he is.
Which is really cool. He's he's a legend in our convention. Speaking of legends, we lost a legend.
I know.
Recently, Oscar Sanchez. Pete, I was at the funeral this weekend, and I saw one. It was you did a masterful job presiding over that in both English and Spanish simultaneously. You're a Southern Baptist, but I think you might have the gift of tongues, my friend.
Hamburguesa, hamburguesa, hamburguesa.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, you're not a hamburger by just hanging out at McDonald's, right? You have to make a decision to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes. We shared the gospel because that's what Oscar was all about, was having people hear the gospel. In his 19 years that he served here, we can count 30,000 professions of faith that were recorded through the Feeding Those Who Feed Us ministry.
Let's say that again. In 19 years, 30,000 professions of faith.
Yeah.
And this is the criticism. People go, what does California Southern Baptist Convention do? We lead people to Jesus.
Yep.
And we do it through the venue of the local church.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
30,000.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything from the small little church in Tulare who doesn't have enough to pay their own pastor, that goes out and feeds and provides clothing and shares the gospel, to the Shadow Mountains of the world that come from San Diego.
Mega church with 28,000 people.
I mean, every church can be a part of the ministries of the California Southern Baptist Convention. And when you're willing to step up, God has given us these servants here at CSBC to help lead some of the ministries. And it's just been incredible. This, Oscar was funny. But Oscar was all about Christ. Sarah's laughing because she's probably thinking about Oscar. Oscar's now in eternity.
Yes.
And he used to talk about eternity. He used to talk about eternity a lot. I guess we should probably close with a funny story about Oscar, right?
There you go. Let's honor Oscar in this one.
So I'll tell you a funny story about Oscar. Oscar used to talk, like I said, about eternity. And he said, what eternity is, Shawn?
The definition.
The definition of eternity.
No, Oscar, I don't.
The definition of eternity, he would say, is two Baptist women saying goodbye at the end of church.
Especially if you're a kid. If it's one of your moms, it's okay. Forget
or
it.
you want to get home and watch a football game.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? He would say the same jokes over and over.
That joke is
again.
always funny, though. Every time
Listen,
he says it, it's
it is.
hilarious.
You know, when you've been pastoring for a long time, you've run out of stories and jokes. You just got to tell them again, and hopefully people will humor you.
But you know a winner when you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
one.
exactly.
That one's a winner.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I'm gonna miss Oscar. Our staff. We took a day of remembrance, and we had his wife with us, just the staff and her and one of her daughters, and we just laughed and we cried.
Yeah.
But we thank the Lord for His faithfulness, and His servant is no longer hurting, no longer pain, no more cancer, and he's before his Savior, and one day we will be there too.
Great man, and helped run the feeding those who feed us, and we're gonna eat in heaven. So I'm assuming he'll have something organized up there for us when
I'm
we
sure.
get there, and it'll be delicious. So
Well, Sarah, wrap us up.
Thanks for being here, Pastor Shawn.
yeah.
Yeah, and for all that you do to keep our board chugging along. This is your last in this seat. Am I correct?
It is. It's my final hurrah.
For now.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, and we'll see you all at the convention, all pre-registered with your wristbands. We have an email address, podcast@csbc.com. See you in Riverside, everybody.
See you guys.
God bless. Looking forward to seeing everybody out there.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.